This is Battlefield Firestorm, the new Battle Royale mode coming to Battlefield 5. My name is James, and joining me is someone who has played the game for a number of hours. It's Tom. Hi, Tom.
Hello.
Hi, Tom. So this is Battlefield Firestorm. Now, Fortnite has building, Apex has legends. What is Battlefield Firestorm's big thing?
Ooh, tanks. Really big tanks in kind of concrete bunkers that you and your friends have to kind of gradually open as alarms are kind of blaring and attracting other players to your position, that kind of stuff. It's also got a massive wall of deadly fire, which is pretty good. It's interesting because it's such a crowded kind of genre, the Battle Royale thing now. You've got to do stuff to stand out. And the fact you've got a giant kind of inferno that just slowly destroys the map as it shrinks is actually a pretty cool addition. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
That's like the equivalent to the storm in other games, right? It closes in slowly, but this one burns you.
It burns you, it burns everything. As you see it you can see it from almost anywhere in the map, but as it closes in, buildings just kind of collapse and shatter. And if you get caught behind it, your vision kind of whites out and you start sizzling to death. But it takes quite a few minutes, quite some time before you actually keel over. So you actually see people having firefights behind the fire line as they're desperately trying to get in front of it. It's quite a different feeling. It's a lot more kind of pressure. If you're the kind of player who likes to sort of nibble at the edges of the map and pick up weapons before going into the centre, you get there's a lot more threat there with this kind of wall of fire happening.
All right, well, let's get into the specifics. Number of players for Firestorm.
So I believe it's 64. It's pretty similar to a standard Battlefield 5 game, but the map is much, much bigger. It's 10 times the size of the largest Battlefield 5 map that you currently see. So it's absolutely vast. There's loads of kind of variety to it. There's some water in the middle. There's a dam. So there's kind of aquatic vehicles as well as, helicopters and stuff like that. There's mountainous areas. There's more just kind of open areas, the trenches and stuff. There's a really nice variety. Interesting gunfights.
And do you know how many of those vehicles, obviously they're quite powerful things, how many of there are on the map or how you get them?
Well, so there's a mix. There's you'll find the kind of prototype helicopter which carries 4 people. It doesn't have any weapons, but it's obviously great for getting around. You'll find that at kind of helipads at certain spots. That'll just be out in the open, anyone can take it. Then there's stuff like there's tractors. You can just find a tractor in a barn and ride that around. That's good. But the really serious stuff, the really big tanks, are underground, and those are the kind of high level weapons that the top tier player is going to be trying to go for to survive to the end of the game. So these bunkers are scattered around. I think there's 3 or 4 of them around the map, and it takes a long time to access them. But once you're in, obviously you're in a tank, so you're very good position.
And the bunkers are always in the same place?
Yeah, I think so. So they're obviously going to, once players learn the map, they're going to be hot spots for combat at the start. I mean, you've got hot drops in Battle Royale, places where you drop in and it's going to be immediately a conflict, and those places are definitely going to be hot drops in Battlefield 5 Firestorm.
So at the moment it's just one map?
Yep, just one map for now. And given the size of it and the scale of it and the time it's taken them to develop, I mean, it might be a while before we see anything else, but there's plenty of variety to it to be getting stuck into.
And from the very beginning, then, it's just squads in this one?
Just squads, I believe. I'm not sure about solo in the future.
It's quite big for solo, isn't it?
It's a bit large for solo. You could basically go Bear Grylls and just live in that map for ages.
So squads of 3?
Squads of 4, I think. And yeah, it's weird. You've also got armor in this game, in this similar manner to Apex and stuff. But instead of stuff they're kind of like blocks of metal that you shove up your vest.
Right.
And so when your armor's kind of expired, you have to kind of get out the armor and then actually left click and put it up there. So there's an interesting risk reward to that stuff as well. So expect to do a lot of that if you're kind of keeping your squad alive.
And aside from the tanks, there's also safes in this game?
Yeah, there are safes. I think these are more randomised than the concrete bunkers. They, again, one player has to sort of crouch down and spend a long time cracking it until it opens. But once it actually does open, you get some of the best loot, basically.
Okay.
And loot tiers are kind of... The developer said that the actual power of the individual shots doesn't change across the weapons, and they're the same guns you're firing in Battlefield 5. But it's stuff like rate of fire and it's stuff like attachments for the high tier loot that's going to make them better. So that's the stuff they're going to carry into the end of the game. Yeah. And
the loot system works in very much the same way as any other Battle Royale. If you played them before, it goes like grey, green.
Yeah, the colours. Yeah, the colours are purple for good stuff, and I think it's yellow for really, really, really good stuff. So yeah, it's going to be very familiar if you've played other Battle Royale games. And again, it's sort of randomised loot inside buildings and stuff like that. So if you can't find a safe, you're still going to be finding pretty decent weapons scattered all over the place.
And it's the same as you would be familiar with any other game. It's the same as you jump out of a plane.
Yep.
You have no guns.
Absolutely right. Yeah. No guns. You're just punching until you find a pistol or something.
And is there also some kind of airstrikes that you can call in?
Yeah, so there are flares that you can fire, and it's almost like a gun that you find, and then you pop a flare on the place where you want the strike to come down, and it just like starts coming out on quite a wide area. So if you're quite close, it's not a great idea to necessarily shoot it at your feet because you're going to get caught up in it. But it looks and sounds amazing. Like it looks as good as any other Battlefield 5 game, and sounds as good as well. Their sound design is incredible, and that stuff really does. The feel of the guns is much more kind of heavier and much kind of more impactful than Apex, for example, and definitely more so than Fortnite.
Now I know you only played it for a couple of hours, but did you get any sense of like the ranking system or what you earn for doing certain things in the game?
Well, you do earn experience and stuff like that, but it goes into your like overall Battlefield 5 profile, I believe. The developer said that it's kind of part of the general Battlefield 5 ecosystem. So I'm not sure you'll be earning like Battle Royale specific stuff, but you'll be unlocking stuff for your profile generally.
Okay, and what's it like to actually play then and be in a squad?
The squad play is great. It's really tense. There's still kind of quite a bit of downtime because the map is huge. Like, it's so big. There's lots of running, and this is true of most Battle Royale games. You're often just running somewhere and not much is happening. But when you actually kind of get a firefight in Battlefield 5, because of the armour, the fights last a lot longer than you're used to in Battlefield 5 multiplayer normally. So there's lots of kind of tense exchanges across rocks and stuff like that, and there are parts of that are very exposed. And if you're there and everyone's sort of lying prone and trying to snipe each other while the firestorm is kind of coming in behind you, that's actually a really cool, tense feeling. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and the firestorm itself makes the final moments of the game pretty intense because it's so close to you and everyone's burning pretty much and running around and you're not really be able to see anything. It does feel like Apocalypse Now or something like that. It's pretty cool.
So compared to everything else, obviously I've got to have Battlefield 5 if I want to play Firestorm.
Yes.
Is it worth picking up if I just want to play Firestorm?
That is the big question, and I can't see myself putting down like 50 or 60 bucks to get access to this. It's a really nice treat for Battlefield 5 owners, but if I'm happily playing Apex, I'd see no need to really hop over, especially because we're not sure like how the mode is going to evolve. Like, the great thing about Fortnite is that it's constantly changing. The map's always getting blown up and rearranged. Apex just, announced its season pass. You want to know what's coming to a battle royale mode to make it worth investing in over the long run. I'm not sure that Firestorm has that yet, but they've done it for Battlefield 5 owners. They've done a great job of adapting Battlefield 5 to the formula.
Okay, well, only time will tell, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for that little hands-on preview session of Battlefield 5 Firestorm, Tom. Once it's out fully, we'll have some more hands-on reports from it, but until then, thanks for watching.